Recently, I was given the opportunity to find out if the Vego gardening hose actually stands up to the hype. Personally, I really struggle with hoses. It's part of the reason that I've made my garden need as little water as possible because I just hate yanking hoses around the yard. I am small, I am a little weak, and my garden is very big. And seeing this retractable hose, I thought maybe this will actually make watering easy. For the installation, you have the option of either attaching it to the brick wall of your house, the way that I'm doing, or you can attach it to a wooden post. And there's different hardware provided depending on what you want to do. This thing is pretty heavy though, so whatever you're attaching it to, make sure that it is very sturdy. I chose to attach this underneath the stairs, which are right next to my garden. This is already where I keep my hose coiled up, although I do have a pretty lengthy bit of hose that has to go all the way around the house to where the spigot is, because for some reason the spigot is just on the opposite side of where the garden is. My plan with this is to use a hose splitter so that the main hose can come in from the spigot and it can be split off into this Vego garden hose, and the other side can be split off into my drip irrigation system. While I'm overall really happy with the decision to install it straight into the brick wall, drilling the holes took a very long time. You need a very specialized bit and you need a lot of patience. I'm really glad I had my partner to help me on this. Without him, I might have taken several days to finish drilling these holes. Once we got the holes drilled, we added the hardware inserts and the screws and screwed the base into the wall. Compared to the size of the actual hose reel, the base looks kind of tiny. However, everything fits together really well and it feels very sturdy. I do really like that the whole thing is on a swivel, so no matter which direction I'm walking with the hose, I'm not going to be trying to bend it around some sharp corner as it's coming out of the mouth of the reel. In addition to the hose reel, this kit comes with a special connector and 2 separate nozzles. At first, I didn't really understand the benefit of this, but over time it has become very clear that this is a really nice touch. The main connector piece has an on-off valve right there, so I don't have to run all the way back to the spigot every time I want to switch out the nozzle. This connector piece makes switching between the nozzles fairly simple, but honestly, the main feature that I'm excited about is that the entire connection between the connector and the nozzle swivels. That gives the hose a lot of freedom to move, while my hand holding the nozzle doesn't have to twist round and round. My first impression was, yeah, I really like this hose, but now that I've been using it for a while, I really like it. It is a little pricey, but I think it has a lot of quality of life touches that make it worth it. The hose material itself is really high quality. The springs or whatever it is that reels in the hose from the inside feels like very high quality. And that connection system I talked about is very posh. Not to mention, after using it for several weeks now, I've not once had the hose get tangled up inside the mechanism. It does a very good job of feeding it side to side as it's rolling to make sure that it rolls up very nicely onto the roll inside. Overall, this seems really well engineered, and I'm quite happy to recommend it to you guys who are looking for a really nice hose reel. If you want to hear me talk more about Vego products, specifically their garden beds, check the links on the screen or in the description below. And if you're brand new here, I invite you to join me on my weekly garden tour. Every week I go over what's been happening in my garden and I hit all the highs as well as all the lows. I talk about the problems I'm experiencing and how I'm addressing that in real time, including every time I change my mind about how I want to handle something. My goal is to create a resource for especially new gardeners who maybe haven't had the opportunity to see what a realistic garden looks like. And I post every single week of the year so that you can see what I'm doing not just at peak season when the garden is beautiful, but also in the off season when not a lot of things are growing. I hope to see you there. Until next time, happy gardening.